Hey, Warriors fans, let's dive right into the latest action from Golden State because there's a lot to unpack after the last game. Steph Curry and Jimmy were incredible as always, putting up 34 and 33 points respectively, showing that when it comes to carrying the offensive load, they know exactly what to do. Draymond contributed 12 points with 6 rebounds and 6 assists, which was solid. But as we all know, the rest of the team struggled to make a significant impact. Beyond those three, the numbers were disappointing, single digits from almost everyone else. Al Horford had 9, Moses Moody and Will Richardson had 6 each, and the rest of the squad barely managed 2s, 4s, and 5s. It's clear that while the stars are performing, the Warriors are missing that crucial third scoring option, someone who could turn the tide when the starters are doing their part. Quentin Post showed some promise, playing 12 minutes, but honestly, that's not enough considering the lineup they were up against. The team continues to experiment with Draymond at center, but the truth is, small ball in today's NBA just doesn't cut it, especially when matched with players like Wendell Carter Jr., Franz Wagner, and Desmond Bane, who all have size and length advantages. It's not something that can be coached away. Height matters, and until the Warriors adapt, true championship contention will remain elusive. The lack of an instant offensive spark off the bench really hurt them. Outside of Steph and Jimmy, nobody was able to consistently threaten the basket or stretch the floor effectively. This is not just about scoring. It's about keeping the defense honest and creating room for teammates to operate. The game itself was close, not a blowout, but frustrating to watch. By the end of the first quarter, the lead was only 4 points, 7 by halftime. And by the end of the third, it had crept to 8, staying there until the final buzzer. Against a team like the Magic, who were not at full strength without Paolo Banchero and Mo Wagner, the Warriors should have dominated. Yet, the question remains, who can step up as that reliable third option? Kuminga's absence is noticeable, but even when available, his inconsistency has already become apparent. In recent games, Poole has been that spark off the bench, but in this matchup, he went 2 for 7 from the field, 6 rebounds, and barely contributed from three-point range. Performances like this highlight the ongoing problem. The Warriors need someone who can deliver consistently when the starters are doing their part, because inconsistency cannot carry a team to a championship. Other potential contributors like Pat Spencer did not see action in this game, which is a shame because he has shown the ability to provide an instant offensive spark off the bench. Ideally, a rotation with Steph at 1, Jimmy at 2, Draymond at 3, Horford at 4, and Quentin Post at 5 could have allowed more players to find rhythm and produce offensively. Instead, what we saw was a lack of cohesion and missed opportunities that could have translated into a comfortable win rather than a frustratingly narrow margin. Turnovers were another glaring issue. The Warriors committed 18 turnovers, 3 above their average, with Steph losing the ball 5 times, Jimmy and Draymond 3 each, and Moses Moody another 3. In a league where possession control is key, this is an area that must improve if Golden State is serious about contending. Limiting turnovers to under a dozen per game could transform them into a dominant force as the season progresses. Looking back, the game against the Pelicans also raises concerns about focus and discipline. Draymond nearly let a fan distract him during that matchup, which is never a good look, especially for a 4-time champion. At 35 years old, with 4 rings, Draymond needs to channel his energy into leadership and performance, not on-court confrontations. Emotional control is crucial, particularly when the team relies on stars like Steph and Jimmy to lead the charge. The past shows Draymond's immense value on defense and as a facilitator, but ongoing distractions could pose problems if not managed carefully. Should incidents like this escalate, they could result in suspensions, affecting team performance and morale. As the Warriors continue their road trip, the upcoming game against Miami will be particularly intriguing. This may be Jimmy's first return to Miami since his trade, and the Heat are always dangerous opponents, regardless of roster changes. Known for their intense culture, they will likely come out motivated to challenge Golden State. The Warriors need to stay focused, avoid mistakes, and attack relentlessly. Maintaining composure and executing smart basketball will be essential against a team that thrives on pressure and intensity. The strategy has to be precise. Balance aggressive offense with disciplined defense, limit turnovers, and make sure that the bench can contribute meaningfully when called upon. Through all of this, one thing is clear. Steph and Jimmy can handle their roles, but without additional consistent scoring and a sharper approach to minimizing mistakes, the Warriors risk leaving games closer than necessary or even losing matchups they should control. Poole, Quentin Post, and other young players must step up, but so far, the performances have been inconsistent, leaving the team vulnerable against opponents that are technically inferior but well-prepared and disciplined. Until Golden State finds that reliable third scorer and tightens its rotation, frustrations will persist, and games that could be decisive might remain nail-biters. The pattern of struggling to find rhythm outside the star duo has been recurring, and it's evident in shot attempts and offensive flow. Outside of Steph and Jimmy, very few players reached double-digit attempts, making it easier for defenses to predict plays and pressure the ball. Fluidity in offense, with proper spacing and rotations, could help, but that requires minutes for contributors who have shown potential, including Post and Spencer. It also demands patience from the coaching staff, who must recognize the limitations of small ball against bigger, versatile opponents. For Golden State, finding the right balance between star production, bench support, and tactical adaptability is critical to maintaining contention for the title. The challenge extends beyond scoring. Defense, rebounding, and controlling the pace of the game are equally important. Despite Draymond's historical defensive prowess, the team's defensive execution needs support from the bench, especially when the starters are involved in offensive runs. Small lapses can lead to turnovers, fast breaks, and momentum swings that opponents exploit. Golden State's ability to control these aspects will define how far they go in the playoffs and how resilient they are against teams that apply sustained pressure. Overall, while the talent is evident, the issues of inconsistency, turnovers, and reliance on a limited number of players are pressing. Addressing these concerns, especially with young talent contributing reliably and veterans maintaining composure, will be key. The season is far from over, and lessons from games like the recent Magic matchup highlight areas for growth, both individually and as a collective unit. With disciplined adjustments, smarter rotations, and greater consistency, the Warriors can still assert dominance, but it requires commitment from everyone on the roster. Looking ahead, the Warriors need to focus not only on their own execution, but also on anticipating how opponents will exploit their weaknesses. Teams like Miami and other top contenders are going to target Golden State's bench depth and the gaps that appear when Steph and Jimmy are carrying most of the load. It's not just about scoring. It's about creating a sustainable system where even when the stars are on the bench, the offense keeps flowing and the defense stays disciplined. That's where players like Quentin Post, Poole, and even Al Horford come into play, providing support that can either maintain momentum or help the team recover from stretches where the starters are off the floor. Without this, the Warriors risk falling into the trap of close games that should be more comfortable victories, which can slowly chip away at confidence. Turnovers remain one of the most glaring problems. 18 in the last matchup is far too high, especially for a team that aspires to compete at the highest level. Even with elite scorers on the roster, losing possession repeatedly disrupts the rhythm of the game and allows opposing teams to capitalize on mistakes. Steph's 5 turnovers, while understandable given his role as primary playmaker, still create unnecessary pressure. Jimmy and Draymond contributing 3 each compounds the issue. To be serious contenders, the Warriors need to get these numbers down to 12 or fewer per game. It's a critical threshold. Every lost possession can mean the difference between a narrow win and a demoralizing loss, especially against teams that thrive on fast breaks and high-pressure defense. The bench's inability to consistently contribute points is another concern. Inconsistent scoring from players like Poole, who can explode for over 20 points in one game and then barely make an impact in the next, creates a gap that defenses exploit. Pat Spencer, for instance, has shown flashes of being that spark plug who can ignite the offense, but minutes have been limited, leaving potential untapped. Quentin Post has the size and skill to complement the starting lineup, yet his minutes remain inconsistent. The coaching staff faces a difficult balancing act. They need to trust the young players to perform while also protecting the rhythm of the game, but without giving them sufficient opportunity, the team's offensive fluidity suffers. This dynamic becomes even more critical when facing tall, athletic lineups that could disrupt driving lanes, contest shots, and dominate the boards. Defensively, the Warriors have always had the potential to be a dominant force, but the execution has to match the talent. Draymond Green remains the defensive anchor, but at 35, his role needs adjustment. Emotional discipline is paramount, particularly after incidents where frustration nearly led to a confrontation with a fan. The team cannot afford distractions, not only for Draymond's sake, but for the cohesion of the entire roster. He must channel his energy into leadership, communication, and defense rather than on-court drama, ensuring that the Warriors maintain focus through high-pressure situations. Emotional lapses have the potential to trigger suspensions or costly penalties, which could severely impact playoff positioning and overall team morale. Looking at the upcoming stretch of the season, every game counts. The return match against Miami is particularly noteworthy. Jimmy's first trip back since the trade adds an emotional layer that could motivate both teams. The Heat are notorious for their relentless pressure and well-drilled system, often outperforming expectations regardless of roster changes. For Golden State, staying composed, controlling the pace, and executing consistently will be essential. The Warriors need to attack the basket, space the floor effectively, and ensure that bench players are ready to step in and maintain intensity. Any lapse could lead to a surge from the Heat that wipes out an early lead and shifts momentum. The broader pattern of reliance on Steph and Jimmy highlights the importance of a dependable third scorer. Without this, defenses can crowd the stars, forcing turnovers, contested shots, and difficult possessions. Poole, Post, and Moody are capable of providing that support, but inconsistency remains the obstacle. For a championship-caliber team, it's crucial that the rotation functions like a well-oiled machine, with each player understanding their role and contributing in predictable, reliable ways. Even minor adjustments in shot selection, spacing, and decision-making can dramatically improve efficiency and open the door for more seamless offensive execution. In terms of coaching strategy, Steve Kerr faces a challenge in balancing small ball tendencies with the realities of modern NBA matchups. While versatility and pace are strengths, the limitations of size against taller opponents become evident, particularly when trying to exploit mismatches in the post or on the boards. Adjusting rotations to include a more traditional lineup in critical moments, while still leveraging the speed and shooting of small ball, could help alleviate some of the recurring offensive struggles. Defensive switches, pick-and-roll coverage, and controlling transition opportunities are equally vital. If Golden State can blend these elements effectively, the team could maintain its star-driven attack while minimizing exposure to physical mismatches. Looking deeper at the offensive flow, the Warriors need better distribution of shot attempts. Outside of Steph and Jimmy, few players reached double-digit shots, making the offense predictable. Spreading the scoring load, utilizing proper spacing, and ensuring that secondary players like Poole, Post, and Spencer get consistent touches can keep defenses honest and prevent opponents from focusing solely on stars. A fluid offense allows for better rotations, higher percentage shots, and opportunities for fast breaks. Without this, Golden State risks falling into stagnant sequences where defenses can anticipate every movement and force difficult possessions. Before we continue, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any exclusive Dubs updates. Let's keep going. Tyler Herro has stirred up a storm once again, but this time, it isn't on the court. The Miami Heat sharpshooter, known for his fearless play and confidence, apparently let his mouth run a little too freely during a recent interview, and the fallout is already rippling across the league. Sources close to the matter say Herro didn't hold back when discussing a team from this side of the country. Yes, the Golden State Warriors. The comments have reportedly left fans, players, and even some analysts fuming, and social media has been exploding ever since snippets of his remarks started circulating. Though the exact words are a mix of reported quotes and paraphrasing, the sentiment was unmistakable. Herro questioned the Warriors' dominance, poked fun at their playing style, and seemed to suggest that the West Coast powerhouse is not the untouchable force many believe it to be. The timing of his remarks has raised eyebrows, coming just as discussions about league standings and playoff matchups are heating up. Some insiders believe Herro's intention was to motivate his own team, while others argue it was a classic case of a young star speaking before thinking, fully aware that anything he says can go viral instantly. The response has been immediate. Fans loyal to Golden State have taken to forums and social media platforms to defend their team, while rival supporters are relishing the drama. Among NBA circles, the chatter isn't just about the Warriors. It's about Herro himself, his confidence, his swagger, and whether this boldness could become a distraction or serve as fuel for his next breakout performance. One anonymous analyst reportedly called it a powder keg in the making, hinting that such comments rarely go unnoticed in today's media-driven basketball world. Meanwhile, Miami insiders are staying tight-lipped, although some teammates have been spotted with wry smiles and knowing looks, suggesting they aren't too worried. Rumor has it that a couple of senior players might even enjoy the extra edge this controversy could bring to the court. Whatever the truth, one thing is clear. Tyler Herro has once again reminded everyone that in the NBA, it's not just the game that generates headlines. Words alone, carefully or not so carefully chosen, can ignite the kind of buzz that keeps fans talking long after the final buzzer sounds. The Heat guard's comments, whether calculated or impulsive, have already added another layer to the ongoing narrative of young talent challenging the established order. As the whispers grow louder, fans and pundits alike are left to speculate. Will this be a fleeting moment of bravado, or the spark that sets up a showdown fans will remember for years? Either way, Tyler Herro has firmly inserted himself into the conversation, proving once again that he's as much a headline maker off the court as he is a scorer on it. Stay updated exclusively with the latest Dub Nation news. Subscribe to our channel and hit the like button to keep getting daily updates on the Warriors. Don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments. Your input is essential for the Dubs community. Stay tuned for the next video.